everyone, this is Jeff Elliott from another71.com, and today is Friday, March 11th, 2011, and I asked my Facebook page what was on their minds, and so that's what we are going to talk about today. Alright, let's kick things off with financial accounting and reporting, and Christina wanted to know, why does it have to be so difficult? And she was obviously asking a rhetorical question that all of us have probably thought at one time during our CPA exam journey. Like, why does FAR have to be such a beast? I mean, you know, BEC's hard, auditing's hard. I mean, all the exam sections are very difficult, but financial seems, it's the one that always people dread studying for, just because it, for lack of a better word, it sucks. And financially, you have to know pensions, governmental accounting, segment reporting, not-for-profit, bonds, leases, accounting changes. Now you have to know IFRS or IFRS. So, and I've said it before, and I don't think I coined the phrase, but it's FAR is a mile wide and an inch deep. You have to know a little about everything, and you don't have to be an expert on bonds. You just have to know how to amortize them. And so anyway, why does it have to be so difficult? That's like, you know, FAR is like the gatekeeper. So it keeps people up at night. It gives people the most problems. I actually had the privilege of passing FAR twice. I loved it so much. I lost my credit for FAR because I scored back-to-back 74s on regulation, and so I was 1 point away from being a CPA, and instead not only did I not pass regulation, I lost my FAR credit, so I had to jump back in there and do that again, and that was tough to do. But I did it, I got through it, and you will too. Now, someone else asked about IFRS, I believe it was Ann, and so there's a lot of things that you could talk about with IFRS, but for purposes of this video, let's talk about the basic differences between IFRS and GAAP, and I'm going to use my Ninja notes as my cheat sheet here. All right, basic IFRS differences between that you need to know as opposed to GAAP. Unlike GAAP, if the entity is not a going concern, you cannot use IFRS. Okay, if it's not a going concern, can't use IFRS. And with IFRS, you also have to use the accrual basis of accounting. IFRS does not allow extraordinary items, and it also requires comparative financial statements from the previous year. It does not allow the completed contract method for like construction accounting, no completed contract, and you cannot use LIFO under IFRS. It also requires a statement of comprehensive income and a statement of changes in equity. Those two are required under IFRS, which are not required under GAAP. And it's like under GAAP, you have revenue, and instead of revenue, IFRS uses income, and income encompasses both revenue and gains. So we have, instead of revenue and gains, under GAAP you have income. Under IFRS, the term profit is used instead of net income, and IFRS treats losses the same as expenses, but they're separated on the financial statement. But with revenues and gains are called income, but they are not separated on the financial statement. Losses are lumped in there with expenses, but they're separated. So that's a quick little basic rundown about IFRS. Rowan wanted me to talk about the DoddFrank Act, and I am not, well, I always try to steer away from politics on my site just because it's a pretty polarizing topic, and I know I'll probably piss off half of everyone who reads my site. So let me just say that I find it hugely ironic that the people who were in charge of overseeing such things like Fannie and Freddie are now have an act named after them to supposedly clean up the mess and regulate, because we all need regulatory changes, and you know everyone's crooked and is out to screw everyone over. And no, pretty much the government needs to be as small as possible, do their job, which is to serve us and serve business, and help foster an environment where we have capitalism with a conscience. Let small businesses buy something at 50 cents and sell it for $1 and provide for their families, pay a fair income tax. Everyone should pay a fair income tax, or everyone should pay tax, period, regardless of the income level, and pretty much get out of our way. Now, small businesses and corporations, corporations, they're the bad guy. No, corporations are a corporation is just a business entity that incorporated to insulate themselves from their house being taken if they get sued. That's all a corporation is. And like your average guy talking about business and politics at the bar or at the coffee shop, they have no idea what a corporation actually is. It's just like basically I am considered a corporation. At least my state considers me a corporation. And yeah, I'm out there screwing everyone over. People need to unionize because of me. So yeah, I mean, unions. Next. All right, someone had a question about AMT, and for purposes of the CPA exam, basically for AMT, you need to know a few basic things. Is it good to be able to calculate AMT? Yes, but just know this at a minimum. Number one, if you itemize, you can only deduct medical expenses in excess of 10% of AGI versus 7.5% of AGI. Number two, you have to use Makers 150 instead of Makers 200. And finally, a key point that you have to remember, because in the heat of the exam, you're probably going to get confused. At least I did. And AMT lets you keep your mortgage interest deduction as long as the funds were actually used to pay for your house. You can't take out a mortgage on the equity in your house and then go buy a car and then deduct it for AMT purposes. You can't do that. But AMT does not allow you to deduct your state income taxes, your personal property tax, and your real estate tax, which is allowed normally under a standard Schedule A. Okay? And it does not allow a standard deduction or personal exemption. So if you have a question and it says Joe had all of this stuff, and you have to add all of that back to arrive at taxable income for AMT purposes. So basically know that for AMT at a minimum. Don't skip studying AMT. Like, AMT is an extremely boring topic, but devote at least 30 to 45 minutes minimum just working some AMT questions. If you're cramming for regulation, at least work 10 to 15 questions at least. Just knock it out in 20 minutes. So that's AMT. Finally, let's talk about score releases. Now, I said last week that March 17th was the day and everyone was like, yeah, St. Paddy's Day. And what a glorious St. Paddy's Day it would be if that actually happens. We're still a week away, and the score release is completely out of my control, as you may have noticed. I just pass along information as I hear it, and I'm sure that I will hear updates as we approach 17th, and it's entirely possible that the 17th won't happen and it'll be the 20th, and I'm gonna be the big bad guy and, oh, Jeff, I hate you. I'm never coming to your site again. I get those emails, and which always make me smile. But all I can tell you is that the ninjas will hit me up on the phone and tell me that, hey, it's not the 17th, you idiot. It's the 21st. And I'll be like, awesome, ninjas. That's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. So I'll keep you posted. Hang in there. Hey everyone, this is Jeff Elliott from another71.com. Microphone check, 1 2 1 2.